Reddit. What is your most disturbing, scary, or creepy story? Serious. A few summers ago, I went for a bike ride around midnight with a friend. We went our separate ways at the end of the evening, and I had about 2 blocks to ride back by myself. Because of construction, I had to ride on the sidewalk, but the streets were dead, but it wasn't a problem until right where I was about to turn left onto my street. There was this man walking by himself, maybe 40s, a little scruffy, but not homeless. The sidewalk was narrow, and I didn't want to freak him out. So when I got about 6 feet behind him, I said, "Hey, behind you." And he turned around and gave me the super angry look. I turned down my street, and he started to follow me, literally screaming about how I was a terrible person and he was going to hurt me and all that. I live right off the corner, and I didn't want him to figure that out. So I decided to do another loop around the block. That's not the scary part. The scary part is that when I looped back around and looked down the street, I saw him standing on my front stoop, staring out at the street, like he knew I lived there. He saw me ride by again, but he didn't say anything. I ended up going back to the friends, but my bike got stolen from the alleyway by the house 2 days later. 2 years in, I had the team running the best numbers I had ever seen, far exceeding the minimum standards. Every quarter, I asked to be reviewed for a raise, and every quarter a reason was found to skip the review. Finally, I brought HR into the mix because I was nailing this and working so hard. Miraculously, a date was set for the end of the month. Funny how that works out. Alas, a week before my review date, where I would surely be granted my rate increase, my direct supervisor, a micromanaging weasel of man, and the CEO of the company rewrote the minimum requirements to just barely exceed my team's current projected stats. When I came to him, fist clenched, he explained his move as an unrelated adjustment to compensate for improved average performance. Totally. Legit. Of course. With this change in place a week later, he took the opportunity with the HR director in attendance to express his deep and profound disappointment with my performance and to warn me that he expected me to go the extra mile next quarter or face disciplinary action since my team had failed to make the new grade. I was angry. So angry. I want to complain, but hey, it's the CEO. Who am I going to complain to? He knew that too and sneered at me anytime he could. That's why I worked even harder, neglected my family and personal health, and worked to drive my team to their limits. We actually made it too. I was going to show him he couldn't win unless he cheated. When it became apparent that he was going to be forced to eat the pile of nonsense he shoveled to me in the previous meeting with HR in attendance, he called me into a meeting to design a training handout for the team. We bounced ideas back and forth, but something was weird. Every time I tried to assign a task to someone or set a due date on a handout, the CEO dodged it. By the end of the meeting, we had accomplished nothing solid, and he tabled the assignment for a later date. Because it was tabled, and I assumed we would reschedule a follow-up, I filed my notes away and moved on with other work. A month after that planning meeting, I was pulled into HR and written up for failing to issue the training handout we had tabled. The CEO was in attendance and brought his personally typed meeting notes, clearly outlining that I was assigned the task that day. I had no recourse. He was lying. I said as much and was treated like a combative child. He acted insulted and incredulous. By the end, I was sent home for the day with a demotion off the team I had built and worked so hard for. I still don't know why the CEO had it out for me. He hired his most flattering assistant manager to replace me and told everyone he could how bad I did in that position. I'll never be chosen for something like that again because this man decided he didn't like me. That's it. No revenge. No justice. The bad guy wins. Maybe one day he'll face the consequences. One can only hope.